14th. Well, this should be fun. Talked to, emailed Dom over at Boots on the Table. He's got a lot going on. And at the end of the day, this is my campaign. So felt like this battle, I think we're stuck on August 28th, has gone on long enough. So it's up to me to fill in the gap and kind of pick up my brother's rebound. He's doing stuff, so I totally understand that, because I had quite a bunch of junk going on myself recently, so I kind of delayed my getting out my battle a little bit between helping out with the family and getting new parts of the family added. So we're going to go ahead and fight another battle. This will be the northern part of the battle for Berlin. This will not be General Day Armée 2. This will be Black Powder 2nd Edition. I'm going to need all you guys to be as patient with me as possible while I try to remember how to play this. But kind of watched some videos real quick, and I've got my rule book back out again, and we're just going for pretty much simple and down and dirty, have as much fun as we can, and get a result so we can basically close the book on the battle for Berlin. All the other the three other of the 4 parts are completed, and yeah, so that's it. So this is what the hobby's about. I know, having fun, playing Napoleonics, playing different versions of Napoleonics, and helping each other out. So Don thought he could do it, but just between work, family, his own busting channel. If you're not a member of that one, get over there and join up. It's an amazing channel, and what he does with all the guys in the Plastic Crack podcast are awesome. So it's not a big deal for me to jump in and play. I don't have Swedish troops, so I get the pleasure of having my British back out again, and they get to be an attack column. So we got Black Powder 2nd Edition action coming your way. It's going to be 11 o'clock when this battle kicks off, and very linear here, and should be fun. I've no tags on the table. Everything's on my whiteboard of just all my unit stats, and once again, I beg for your forgiveness, as this is just going to be a work in progress. I'm trying to remember how to play this version of the game, but thankfully it is simplistic, and it's designed for this thing. It's like, hey, I got to play. I want to have a lot of troops on the table. I don't want to play for 10 hours or 20 hours, and I want to get a result. So I know you can pick whatever version of Napoleonic rules is your favorite, but there's also, you have to consider, sometimes you got to play the version that most matches what you need to get done. So I need to get this battle done, and I need to get a conclusion to this campaign, and it's just another excuse to get some Napoleonic figures on the table. So why not? All right, let's do this. I'll go over the map real quick. It's very simple, and tried to follow what Scott had drawn up, and of course, I'm standing behind the French lines, and the Swedish are over there. So we got this is the Royal Rumble between Prince Poniatowski of the VIII Corps versus Prince Karl Johan leading the army of Sweden. And this road here is the road to Berlin. So Prince Karl Johan, being himself, just from what I've known about him, just wanted to defend and make sure that he had the road to get out of Dodge if things went sideways, and he's done just that. So he's sitting on that. I am trying to pull up the map. There is a big chunk of village in front of us. I'm just going to make 2 built-up areas for Black Powder, which I do not remember how to do. So that should be fun. But that in front of me, and pronounce my Zellendorf. And this back here is Dupel or something like that. Just a little built-up area. And that's Prince Poniatowski. And then over in the middle there is Karl Prince Johan. And boom. All right, we'll get to it. Roll initiative. Every turn will be half an hour. And we'll go from there. So and then we'll just have to see what happens. By the time I get done with this, I'll probably remember how to play. All right, you guys are amazing, and stand by for some more Napoleonic action, Black Powder style, which is another phenomenal rule set. Just to give you a little ground level view of the battlefield, got a big hill there, got a hill in the middle, Got the built-up areas over there. Another hill over there. We got the road, heavily wooded down there. So, yeah. Hopefully I got it all right. Scott will probably laugh at me because I got something backwards, but it's a battlefield all right. The French have, no, this is a little bit different here. They have 6 infantry brigades on table, and so do the Swedes. Sorry, I'm looking at my board, not paying attention to what I'm looking at. But the Polish have 2 Young Guard infantry brigades off table and 2 cavalry brigades off table. And everything the Swedish have is on the board. So that's the only difference. I'll get you a look from ground level from the other side of the battlefield. We can look down the line. All the infantry brigades have an artillery battery attached to them for both sides. Cavalry is 3 regiments per brigade for both sides. There are some heavy cavalry out here. There's some light cavalry. The French have a guard cavalry that Napoleon gave them. And the Swiss do have their grenadier, I guess a brigade, so we kind of rated them pretty decently. And I did give one of the Polish brigades just about a grenadier status, but of course then you've got the Young Guard, 2 brigades of that, and then the 1 guard cavalry, which is just a little bit better, but not much difference with black powder with the statistics, except for like the elite and the reliable. Polish are all going to have pot A charge because they've served with Napoleon for so long, and most of the commanders are 7. Both sides have 2 commanders that are 8s, and then of course you got the C&C for both sides. It's got to be in the top 5 best things about this battle. It's going to have to be listening to me try to pronounce these Polish and Swedish names of these brigadiers. It's going to be a nightmare. It's borderline a hate crime. I'm really sorry. We're going to roll initiative. French will be white, Swedish will be black, and we'll see who's going first. Wouldn't you know it, it's a draw. Let's do it again. So just to familiarize yourself, that's looking north, like the trees, and there's like a river and swamp out there, kind of securing the Swedish right flank. And then if you look right through there is like the Bauerhof, they Faulen Schweins, and that was on my battle. I just finished up in the north central sector. All right, the Swedes have got initiative. Might as well be crazy. And we're going to roll down through each brigade and have a good old time. All right, starting off with 6th Brigade. This is Walmolen. He's going to order his boys. He's a level 7 leader. He's going to try to order his guys to move forward 2 moves. Brigade moves forward 1 move. All right, that's something cool. All right, next up, I think it's 5th Brigade, yep, and this is Boyen, level 7 leader. He's right to the left of the big town to try to do the same thing. Move forward 2 moves. All right, he fails. Going to be stationary. In the main towns here, this is 1st Brigade under Stednick. They're going to hold position in the center. Their cavalry is going to stay firm too. And then to the right of, or I guess this would be north of the town, this is Sandals. He's a level 8 commander. I forgot you get a +1 for attack column. I should have. Let me go back and look and see if I get 1 move out of that. Yeah, the +1 for attack column gives Boyen, he's allowed to move forward 12 inches, so his boys keep in contact with the boys to his left. Now we'll go back to, what it says is Sandals. Sandel, I don't know how to pronounce it. I really don't. We'll call it Sandals, like the resort. He's a level 8 commander, so we're looking for a 9. I apologize. Maybe I was trying to avoid pronouncing it. Skolberand. That was him. Sorry. He gets 2 successful moves. His boys are wearing kilts. They're kicking butt. All right, now we go over to Sandals with the 3rd Brigade. They're going to go for 2 moves as well, try to keep in contact with Skullbrand. Their artillery kind of pivoted out there to fire, do something. I have no idea. There's no tactics here. We're just having some fun. All right, here we go. They do awesome and keep pace. Now 4th Brigade under Vagasak. He's a level 7 commander. He's going to try to do 2 moves too. They rock the house, and the Swedes don't look at all like they're a defensive army. They're going like the horns of the buffalo coming out of Zulu. All right, they're trying to go for both flanks. They're going to hold in the center and try to crush the French. Yes, baby. Probably won't work, but it doesn't matter. Tactics don't matter right now because I'm just having a good old time. All right, so shooting, artillery is going to blast away. All right, these batteries on the southern edge of the Swedish line, they're going to fire long range. Will be 1 die. Base to hits 4. It's long range. It drops down to they get a +1 for shooting an attack column. They're both going to fire at that column right there. 1 dice, looking for 4 to hits. Both guns shooting at this column right here. French saving on 3 pluses, but a -1 for long range or artillery hit. So that 1 hit, they need to roll a 4+ to save. No effect, baby. French, suck it up. Go on to the next gun. This gun right down here, long range, not firing overhead. It's going to fire at these gentlemen right here next to the battery. And I'm pretty sure it's a 4 to hit, but we'll see. Yep, 1 dice, looking for a 4 to hit. No, they miss. That gun over there, fire the same thing at these gentlemen, looking for a 4 to hit. Artillery's starting off a little cold. These 2 guns both will fire at this attack column here, and they will also need 4s to hit. French get lucky. Artillery lands all over the place. That'll end the Swedish turn. French turn. All right, we'll start down here with the 6th Brigade, Sirowski. He is a level 7 commander. He's going to try to move forward. He's going for 3 moves. He's going crazy. Well, they go full psycho and run right into hand-to-hand combat. Wasn't expecting that to happen. I'll have to read those rules. We'll get back to that one in a minute. I think it's at the end of the turn. I got no idea. This is 5th Brigade. Was it Malakowski? Malaklowski. He's going to do the same thing. Try to go 3 moves forward. Level 7 leader. He's going to get 1 move. I did forget that artillery, even though it missed, it would have got 1 more negative on its firing because it was firing overhead. All right, they move forward to there. Now we'll slide down to 4th Brigade. This is Dubowski, another level 7 commander. He's going to go probably straight ahead or kind of angle a little bit towards those gentlemen. They pull off a home run and angle in against that column on the far left of the Swedish line, putting all their weight into that. Oh, leaving a lane for the artillery to fire too. They're so intelligent. I have no idea. All right, now we've got the, well, that was 4th Brigade. So now we're doing 3rd Brigade for the Polish. That's Umananski. He's another level 7 commander. He's going to move as far as he can towards those gentlemen there. Oh, he fails. We're going to break out the reroll. Heck yeah. Here comes Poniatowski. He hooks up with this guy, gives him a little pat on the butt. Try it again, baby. Prince Poniatowski succeeds. All right, good job. They move forward to the top of that hill over there. Well, they're climbing up the hill. 3rd Brigade. Was that 3rd Brigade? Oh, that is 3rd Brigade. Let me get them out there. Sorry. Umananski. 2nd Brigade is, oh gosh, Radziwill. I think it is. He's a level 7 commander. They move out onto the plain. All right, and then finally, Kamenecki. Yeah, he's level 8 commander. He's got the Grenadiers, like almost like the Visual Legion guys. He's going to order them forward. Just 2 moves. All right, and they move out into the open. So the French, or sorry, the Polish, doing wonderfully, leaving open some fire along lanes. Don't want to mask their artillery. Looking good. Already engaged in hand-to-hand. Nuts. All right, let's do this. I think we do shooting first. All right, musket range is 18 inches, so a little bit out of range for all the muskets. We will get artillery firing though here momentarily. We'll start down at the the north end of the battlefield. All right, on the far north, these guns are 24 inches from that attack column right there. So they're going to fire at them with 2 dice. Not a lot of modifiers here except the +1 for the attack column. Looking for 3s with 2 dice. I'm going to use the unformed as disordered. They got a 6 there. 2 saves by these guys. Looking for, artillery is -2. They normally save with 3, but looking for 5s. First casualty of the game. They take 1 casualty. These guns next up, moving towards the south, they're going to fire at that unit right there. They're in 24 inches, and +1 for, or -1 to hit because it's an attack column. They get 1 hit. It's a disordering hit, so they'll have to save, needing a 5. They fail that save and take a casualty. They got 1. All right, now we've got these 2 guns here. They're going to fire at that artillery over there. There is a negative to that artillery, shooting at artillery, I believe, in this. These guns are going to need 6s to hit that gun. Oh, they hit. And that gun's going to need a 6 to save back, plus it's disordered. They are unformed with 1 casualty. Now we'll get these 2 guns here. They're going to fire straight across at that, right there, that column there. So -1 for overhead shooting, -1 for long range, +1 for attack column. So they're going to need 5s to hit with a single die each. Oh, they hit! Oh, wow. Alright, so saving would be a 4, go down to a 3 with attack column, and then up to a 5 for getting hit by, no, up to a 4 for artillery hitting you at long range. They are unformed with 1 casualty. Alright, that's shooting done. That was pretty good for the French, they did alright. I gotta figure out hand-to-hand. Alright, give me a minute. Alright, this one's going to be 4 individual hand-to-hands all tied together in one nightmare. We'll start on this far left here, work our way to the right. These guys are charging them, so we'll figure it out. Alright, both sides, rolling 6s. The Poles will be hitting on 3, and the Swedes will be hitting on 4 because the French are charging. And by French, I mean Poles. I'm going to mess that up a lot. Alright, hang on. Oh, that was absolutely savage. Both sides just slaughtered each other. Poles did better. They got 6 hits. So let's see how the Swedes will save against those. Both sides will be saving on 3 because of the attack columns. Great job. They save everything but 1, so that's awesome. Now the Swedes would make their, so the Poles have to save 4, looking for 3s. Alright, they both suffer 1 casualty. No loss, so that's a draw. That'll go on to the next turn. Alright, now, definitely would have been smart to attack 1 column, but this was just kind of fun. Same thing, these guys attacking them. The Swedes totally choke, and they don't get a single hit. The poles hit 6 times. And so now the Swedes are going to try to save 6, looking for 3s. They take 3 casualties. They are not over their stamina yet, but they're right at it. I don't think they take that, whatever, oh, I forget what the name of that is, but Warren or whatever the heck it's called. I gotta look that up. Shaken? Yeah, shaken. They're not there till they exceed that, so they're tied. But they do lose by 3, so they gotta take a morale test, -3. Alright, they fall back 12 inches and become disordered. Now we'll go on to the next one. Is that the Poles win that fight? Same thing for this one. Both sides rolling 6. Poles hitting on 3s. Swedes hitting on 4s. Swedes jump on this one. They get 5 hits. The Poles inflict 4. We'll get 4 saves by the Swedes, looking for 3s. They take 2 casualties. Now the Poles looking to save 5, looking for 3s. They take 3 hits. They'll take a -1 morale check. That's what they lost by. They'll hold their ground. I'll mark the Swedish unit with a token to say they won the last round, so they'll get a bonus the next hand-to-hand. Alright, last fight. 6 on 6. Yes. We can just speed things along. Both sides take 3. We'll roll their saves at the same time. Both sides looking for 3s. Alright, and I did forget closing fire, I think, on this whole shebangy bang. Might have to go back and add some casualties on. Just be 1 die, I think, but I'll double check that. The Swedes took 1, and the Poles take 2. Poles will take a -1 break test. They get a 7 and hang in there. Alright, 2 quick notes. Closing fire is a -1. It makes it easier to hit, so all 4 of those guys can shoot. But saving from an attack column is actually a -2 modifier, not a -1. So some of those guys might have actually not gone as bad. So I'm going to leave that alone for this time and try to get it right next time. That feels like that could screw up a lot of things if I start going back on all 4 of those. Alright, we'll do this one right. These guys, and I can't keep track of first fire stuff, and I'm not going to put tokens all over the board, so we're going to go without it. These guys are going to fire at these gentlemen as they come on in. Looking for 1 shot, looking for a 3 to hit. Alright, they hit. These guys will save, looking for a 4, -2. So they're going to need a... Yeah, they don't need to roll a 1. That's crazy, that -2 there. Okay, that's the way it goes. Alright, so now we'll get this attack column hitting those gentlemen on the edge. We'll get supports. These guys are supported to the right, these guys supported to the right, and the support to the rear. Alright, the Swedes hit them 4 times. The Poles hit back 3. And now everyone needs to save and not roll a 1. Nobody takes any casualties. Now we go into to see who wins, and with all the supports, the Poles are going to win, so the Swedes are going to take a regular break test with no modifier. They fall back and they are disordered. That's the end of hand-to-hand for turn 1. Boom, all done. Got a couple things wrong, probably got a couple I didn't even know about wrong too, but at least we're playing. It'll be 11:30 when we get back for turn 2. Alright, turn 2, black powder. Try not to screw it up as much as I probably will. Let's roll initiative. Swedes keep the initiative. Alright, they're going to go again. Now we're... Shoo. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, 6th Brigade, Walmollen. He might stay there. I'm going to actually defer here. Hang on a second. Alright, let's start off with 7th Brigade, Cadastrum with the light cavalry. He's going to try to boogie and go as far as he can. If he makes contact with those guys or forces them into square, that's a good thing. He's a level 7 commander. They are in column, so bumped up to 8s. They are not going to be able to get it done as they only get 1 move. Alright, that defers back to Walmorden. He's going to try to order his boys to go as far as they can. Level 7 commander. Alright, 3 of the 4 battalions move forward. I forgot this one's disordered, so they spend the turn reforming. Alright, that's all they got. Alright, 5th Brigade, that's Boyen, level 7 commander. He's going to move out, head towards these gentlemen. 2 moves. They're only able to get 1 move, moving out in the middle of the battlefield. Alright, the guys in the center here, they're going to continue to hold the built-up areas and the escape route back to Berlin if needed. These guys got attacked big time. They're going to do an initiative move. I think you only move straight forward though, and they've got an unformed unit there. Oh, hang on. Not a lot they can do. They're just going to try to reform on the spot. I could go linear. But nah, they're going to try to reform those 2 units and hold still. Kind of sucks. These guys are in hand-to-hand already. This unit reforms. And these 4 units, they're going to try to go forward and see if they can attack that artillery. Only 3 of the units though, because 1 is unformed, which is going to reform. Or that's the end of Swedish movement after turn 2. I'll get to shooting. They'll get some cannons, might get some volley fire. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Let's see what happens. We'll start at this end of the battlefield. These 3 units are all going to fire a single CD or a single die at these 3 units. Alright, looking for 4s to hit. This unit hits this unit. It's the only unit that hits. Looking for a 2 or better to save. Alright, they save. These 2 artillery pieces, they will fire at this outside unit right here. It's not overhead fire. There is a... They're not now... Yeah, there's a unit in their 45-degree arc that's friendly, but they're firing overhead, but they're not firing over its head, so no modifier there. And we get the full spiel there. Looking for 3s to hit with 2 dice each. Alright, they get 2 hits. They normally save on a 1, but now it's, or 2 or better. Now it's 3 or better. That column suffers a casualty. This gun will fire at this gun here. That's going to be rough. It's long range, and it's -1 for that, so it's probably a 6 to hit. They get their 6. These guys are going to save on, oh gosh, they're going to need a 5 or better. They take a casualty. Alright, this gun is going to plow into these guys right ahead of it. It's not within 6 inches, but it is at close range. And a +1 for shooting at column. They're able to score a hit. -2 to the save. So looking for a 3 or better. they take a casualty. These guys they're under 45-degree arc, so they're going to fire a single CD at these guys. They're within 6 inches, so they're looking for 3s. They hit. These guys were saving on a 2 or better. They saved, no effect there. And hand to hand, hand to hand, hand to hand. These guns are going to fire overhead. Try to put some hits on this guy. They're going to need 6s to hit, both of them with 1 die. Alright, they both missed. We'll go back into hand to hand. We do have an engagement right here. These guys were tied, so they're both rolling 6s, and they both need 4s to hit. The Poles hit for 4, British hit for 1, or 2, sorry. So they'll both be making saves now, looking for 2s or better. The Swedes take 2, the Poles take 1. Poles are gonna, they both have 1 support. The Poles are gonna win. These guys will take a -1 break check. That battalion routs with 3 casualties. Ouch. Alright, moving on to the next hand-to-hand. The Swedes have an advantage. They won the last one. But they'll both have 6 attacks, but the Swedes will be hitting on 3s. Poles on 4. The Swedes hit 4 times. The Poles hit twice. Alright, both of them are saving on 2 pluses. It's a draw in combat, but the Poles are now shook. So they have to take a break test, an even one. They fall back. They're shaken and disordered now. And then the final hand-to-hand here, I think that was even too. Yeah, they both took... looks like... Oh, I didn't mark it. That's pretty bad of me. Looks like the Swedes won because they have 1 casualty and the Poles have 2. So they're both attacking on 6, except the Swedes will be hitting on 3s. The Poles aren't able to get a single hit. The Swedes get 2, so we'll get 2 saves from the Poles. Looking for 2s. They save both, so there'll be no advantage on the next hand-to-hand, and that'll finish up turn 2 for the Swedes. We'll switch over to the Poles, and let's get crazy with it. Alright, these guys' initiative moved into them. They supported them, so that's that. They stay in hand-to-hand. These guys become... they just lose their disordered. They don't do anything. These gentlemen under 5th Brigade are Poniatowski. They're going to try to go and attack that far left battalion there. Alright, they get 1 move, so they move like that. Their guns advance slightly to maintain a firing lane. These guys are going to initiative move and hit that end unit right there. 3rd Brigade is Umaninski. He's going to try to cross the hill and attack those gentlemen there. And that was successful. And then 2nd Brigade under Radziwill, he'll try to hit that far outside brigade, battalion of that same brigade. Poniatowski's right there for the reroll, baby. He's bringing the love. And they succeed. They're right there. And Kamenecki's going to attack. He gets an initiative move. He'll attack that outside unit right there. Alright, they go in against them. And that'll do it. Okay, we'll get... we'll do shooting first for both sides because there'll be some closing fires here, and then we'll get into it. I gotta get some pictures. It's getting crazy. The French are going to try to also bring in 3 reserve brigades too, so that's going to be fun. I think they get a -1 to this. So let's start off with the 1st Young Guard Brigade. They can't bring in the 2nd one, Young Guard, until they have lost a brigade. That was the stipulations of Napoleon before the battles of Berlin even started. So Reveille is going to try to come in with 4 battalions of Young Guard, and he's an 8. They're an attack column, make it a 9. He'll lose 1 for coming in off table, looking for a 7 or less. And yes, I can't do math. He was looking for an 8 or less, so a 6 gets him 2 moves coming in. Young Guard Brigade comes on the table. Now we'll roll for the first of the cavalry brigades coming on this turn. Who's this one? Hang on. Pajol is going to try to come on over here to the left with some light cavalry, but mostly dragoons off to the left over here. Wow, amazing roll. They're going to have range to hit these guys, so they're going to go into square. I'm just going to roll to make sure there's no double 1s or double 6s. They put them into square. These guys had plenty of extra movement to fall back out of range. So they raced towards them, they formed square, and they just pulled back and retreated. Well, not retreated, but just waiting for their opening. And those guys are sitting in square in front of cannon, which is always just a great idea. All right, and the last French heavy cavalry squadron is going to come in on the far right. That's, who's that under? That's under Castiglione. He's got 3 regiments of heavy cavalry. They're guard, too. So that's ugly. They rush onto the table. They're not attacking those guys. They're going after the cavalry. So they get 3 moves, and there they are. All right, that finishes the movement now for the turn. And we'll get into shooting. All right, starting down here. Effective range, I guess what they call it. I'm sorry, black powder people. He's going to fire at that square. Oh gosh, that's going to be +1, 2 dice, hitting on 3s. All right, they're disordered. They take 2 hits. They no longer save on. They never get that +2 bonus anymore. Now they're in square. So now they have to. Now they need 6s to save. All right, these 3 guys are going to shoot at that unit right there with a single die each, looking for 4s to hit. Oh, I guess they're an attack column. So is that +1? They score 2 hits, saving on a 1 or 2 or better. They save them both. This artillery piece is going to fire at that column right there in the middle. 2 attacks, hitting on 3s. 1 hit, needing a 5 or a 6 to save. They are disordered now of 2 casualties. These 2 guns are going to fire at that gun in the trees there, or in the buildings there. They're going to need 6s to hit at long range. All right, I have to grab a new battery. I'm not sure what's saved on that last shot. These 2 guns firing at long range at that battalion up on the hill. Long range, hitting on I believe 5s or 6s, right? Let me double check. No, 4 pluses, because attack column, long range, they kind of cancel each other out, and that's it. 4. Nope, shooting overhead, 5s or 6s. Take a disordering hit, and then you have 4+ to save. Is that right? No, a 3+ because it's long range. Alright, they're just disordered. And that is it. Alright, we'll do hand to hand. Might as well stay down here. Vistula Legion slamming into that outside unit. Both sides are rolling 6. Vistula Legion, actually, Vistula Legion might get more attack because they're Grenadier unit. Yeah, they get 7 attacks, hitting on 3s. These guys have 6 attacks, hitting on 4s. Poles hit 5 times. The Swedes hit him twice. They're both saving on 2+ though, so it might not be that hard. Nobody takes any damage. They all make their saves, but the VIII Legion has 2 supports while the Swedes have 1, so they'll lose and take a unmodified break test. Ferocity of the VIII Legion is just too much for those Swedish reservists. They just take off and run. Oh boy. We'll get a next attack here is line on line. These guys go in against them. The Poles are fully supported, and these guys and the Swedes just have 1 support. Still, both are getting 6 attacks, and looking for 3s for the Poles, 4 for the Swedes. Poles hit 4 times, Swedes hit 2. All right, let's re-roll the saves, looking for 2+. All right, they both take 1 casualty. The Swedes are going to lose because of the supports that the Poles have, so it'll be an even break test. Swedes are driven back. They are disordered, and that's where they are right now. All right, next hand-to-hand. This one here, as these guys rush in. I keep forgetting closing fire. Dang it! All right, closing fire. Let's remember it. Hitting on a 3, 1 dice. That was clutch. They disorder them. All right, let's see if they can save on a 2+. They can make the save, but now they'll both be hitting on 4s. Both of them have 6 attacks. They even up the battle with that closing fire shot. Nice jobs by the Swedes. Poles are still able to get 4 hits. The Swedes get 3. Both sides are saving on 2+. No casualties for either side, but the Swedes are going to lose because of supports. So they'll take a break test without any modifier. They are driven back 1 move. They are disordered. They have no casualties. That's the end of that one. All right, over here, these guys are tied up, but they're going to go at it again. Both sides hitting on 4s, rolling 6 attacks. Ugly rolling. The Poles hit twice. The Swedes hit once. The Swedes have no supports. The French have 1. Both saving on 2+. French will win. Swedes will take a break test with no modifier. They're going to stay right there and fight. I'm going to mark the Poles with an I1, and now we'll do this hand-to-hand here, and we'll have 2 French units going against that, or 2 Polish units going against that 1 Swedish unit. Poles are charging, hitting on 3s. Closing fire first, though. They hit him, saving on a 2+. Poles take a casualty, and now here we go. Here comes the 6 attacks on 6 attacks. All right. Poles hit 4 times. Swedes hit back 2. Let's do some saves. Look, 2+. Same old, same old. No casualties for anybody. The Poles will win. Swedes will take an even break test. All right, they love it and hang in there. Okay, I'm going to mark them with Poles with a victory. They were winning the hand-to-hand. All right, that ends turn 2. Going to turn 3. Do a flight around the battlefield just so you can see it all. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to remember these rules, and I'm sure I'm screwing a few things up, but it's fast. It's exactly what I needed it to be. It's like just trying to help out. get the campaign moving, keep everybody interested, and basically black powder, you can bang out a whole lot of battle in a short period of time, which is ideal. Let's say if you don't have a table you can leave set up for a couple of days, you can play a pretty dang big battle pretty quickly and still have a blast. Especially, I mean, you're going to have a laugh just with the dice rolls and the saves, and even if you're playing by yourself. So it's exactly what it's supposed to do, in my opinion. So, but yeah, it's different. All right, you guys are awesome, and we'll see you in turn 3, where it'll be 12 o'clock. Alright, welcome to turn 3. I think I did screw up in turn 2 in more ways than one, but I don't think you roll initiative every time. Just do initiative one time, and then it's basically that just continues on. It's not like a chance where you could go and then win initiative in the next turn and go a second time. It just alternates back and forth. Sorry about that. I think I carried that on from another game. So, alright, so we'll go back to the Swedes. They're up. Alright, we'll start off. This cavalry is not too excited about going up against elite cavalry. So they're going to try to wheel and attack those guys out in the open. Alright, is it Catastrom? He is a level 7 leader. Gets a bonus up to 8. Let's see how he does. Alright, he's going to make it easy. Radizwil is going to try to form square with this entire brigade. Or that light cavalry came down, put them into square, and then had plenty of extra movement to bounce into that area over there. Maybe it's a good move. Kind of left their artillery out in the open. We'll see if that pays off. All right, and yeah, okay, that's that first group done. These gentlemen here. All right, they initiative move and attack those guys there on the edge. They'll both have one support. A similar theme. These two. Ooh, they have to go straight ahead. I'm gonna have to leave a battalion behind. All right, these two battalions are going to move forward and engage the square. That battalion is going to fall back and support that one back there. Johan splits his battalions, trying to get the best of two worlds here. One goes in, and you can move backwards too, an initiative move, so they just go back at half speed to there. Those gentlemen are going to hold their positions in Zendeldorf, whatever it is. Oof, what to do here? Give me a minute to think about this. Oh boy, two of the four battalions are, it says unformed, but I guess it's disordered, so neither one of these two can move. So, so it's like you could move one. Yeah, I might as well do that. These guys will pull back, because someone's got to get sacrificed, and try to regroup with the rest of the battalion back here. That was still an initiative move, because they were within 12 inches of them. These gentlemen are going to, from the 3rd Battalion, are going to try to move forward and support that attack up there. They fail, so Karl Johan's going to come out there and give them a reroll. And they fail again. If I remember correctly, they can't order anything else to do anything after that, I believe. Let me double check. That brigade commander failed. These guys, oh, they got one unit that's disordered. So they'll stay in square. Oh, like with that cavalry sitting right there. Yeah, they'll just stay in square. If they come out, they're going to have to go right back in it again. Oh, okay. So that's it for Swedish orders. We'll go into shooting. Yeah, this square is going to fire at these gentlemen here. So this square and this square can both fire at that unit there. It's supporting that hand-to-hand. They both hit. That unit's saving on a 2+. They saved both of them. Those guns are going to fire at long range at this center cavalry unit and try to melt it, so it can stop being a threat to their own boys. It's going to be overhead fire and long range, but then firing, so it's going to be a +1. So looking for a 5, 2 dice. Oh, they choke. Alright, these guys here, they can fire a single die at this unit here coming at them. They hit. Now those guys can save on a 2+. Which they make it. And that artillery is going to fire straight ahead at the young guard coming at this group right here. They're at long range. I think it's a 4, 5, or a 6 because they're an attack column. They totally miss. Not rolling really good right now. This attack column can fire at that lead unit, looking for a 3. I love rolling 1s. That's fantastic. Those guys charged in. They can't do anything. These guns are going to fire everything at that attack column. I mean that square right there. That's 2 dice each, and it's going to be pretty darn easy to hit them. We're looking at 3s. Terrible dice rolling continues. They do get 50% of the hits though. And now these guys would normally, yeah, now they got to save. Really good luck. They need 6s to save. Alright, maybe putting them in square right there is not a bad idea. Okay. Alright, so that will end their shooting phase for the Swedes. Now we'll get the hand-to-hand. They got that charge going in. We'll get 1 shot of closing fire against the unit coming in, looking for a 3. Great rolling continues. Alright, now hand-to-hand attacks. The square will get 2 attacks, and the Swedes will get 6. Square scores 2 hits. The Swedes get 3. Saving's a whole lot different though. The square will be saving on 4s, and the Swedes will be saving on 2+. If you can believe that, the square saves everything. The Swedes take a casualty. They both have 2 supports. The Swedes are going to lose by 1 and take a -1 break test. That is ridiculous. The Swedes fall back disordered. Boom, that's not good. Alright, they're driven back. That unit's left out there in the breeze. And yeah. Now we've got to go back to these other hand-to-hands that we're continuing on from last turn. This one, the Swedes they're doing a one-on-one here, but the Poles won last turn, so they're hitting on 3. The Swedes are hitting on 4s. The Swedes hit 3 times, the Poles hit 5. They're both saving on 2+. The Swedes fail 3 saves. They become shook as they exceed their stamina count. They're gonna. The Poles do not take any casualties at all. Plus, the Poles have 1 support. So the Swedes are going to take a -4 break test. That battalion from 3rd Brigade incinerates and runs away. That's the 1st battalion from that brigade. Now we'll get this second hand-to-hand here with this Polish unit in hand-to-hand after winning last turn with 1 support. The Swedes get 4 hits, the Poles get 3, both sides saving on 2 pluses. The Poles take a casualty, the Swedes take none. With their support, it's being a draw. No one will be marked as having the advantage the next time they fight, which will be the next, well, it'll be in a minute now that now that becomes the Polish turn. All right, so that's the end of the Swedish stuff. Move on into the Poles. These guys, after defeating the other unit, they joined this combat. These guys' initiative moved up and attacked them. These guys are going to roll. They've only got 3 units and go forward. They're going to go forward and try to attack. I guess they'll attack that unit on the right. Alright, they succeed and get up into there. The Young Guard, their commander's an 8. They're going to try to stream forward to into that gap over there. The Young Guard had reliable, so they screamed across the battlefield. They didn't quite reach that target, but these guys had initiative moves, so they reached in and hit them. The squares, they're going to try to do a command to come out of square, reform attack column, and then attack those gentlemen. So they need 2 moves. Alright, which happens. Great job by those gentlemen. They get in there against that hand-to-hand. Cavalry's going to try 2 separate orders. They're going to order the outside unit to wheel and attack that line brigade there, or line battalion. Alright, they fail that one. Prince Poniatowski is going to ride over and do his reroll for those gentlemen. That succeeds. They form square. They bounce off. Now with the other 2 parts of his brigade, it's going to wheel right in and attack the guns on the flank. Our cavalry rushes in, attacks those guns on the flank. And now these last 2 guys, yeah, they had, he was a level 9 leader. They were reliable and an attack column, so that was an amazing. These last 2 guys that aren't engaged are just going to wheel and join the hand-to-hand here. Level 8 commander with a Pade charge attack column, so no problems there. I'm pretty sure this ends up being like a double attack, like they put half their attacks forward, half of them to the side, and they will get 1 support, and these guys will do 2 separate attacks. Alright, we'll start off down here with this hand-to-hand that was even this turn, but now the the Poles have added in 2 more supports. So both sides rolling 6, both sides hitting on 4. But the Poles have 3 supports. Both sides get 3 hits. They're making saves on 2 pluses. No casualties, but the Poles are going to win by 3, and they'll take a -3 break test. That battalion was destroyed. That was the 3rd Battalion in Sandel's elite 3rd Brigade, but to be destroyed. So the whole brigade shatters and they leave the battlefield. Oh no! All right, going on to the next hand-to-hand. I guess I could do some artillery fire while I'm here. I'm trying to go left to right here, and I forgot about the artillery fire. These guns will fire into that square there with 2 shots, looking for 3s. 2 hits, they disorder them, saving on 6s. They failed them both. They're now shaken and disordered. They took 1 excess casualty, so they have a -1 save. They hold their ground. They're shaken and disordered, still staring down the barrel of that cavalry. Now we've got these 4 French attack columns hitting that one lone unit right there. We'll get one shot of closing fire from the Swedish unit on that lead French attack column. They score a hit, trying to save on a 2 or plus. They make the save. The attack goes in. They have 6 on 6. French hit, or sorry, Poles hitting on 3, Swedish hitting on 4. Poles get 3 hits. Swedes get 1. They're both saving on 2 pluses. They both take a casualty. The Swedes have 0 supports. The Poles have 3, so they're going to take a -3 break test. Those guys are going to lose. They're going to get knocked back to there. They are disordered. They have 3 casualties now. And then the attack here, the Swedes will get a closing fire with 1 CD. Which misses, unfortunately, and then we get the hand-to-hand with the once again the Poles hitting on 3s with 6 attacks, and the Swedes hitting on 4s with 6 attacks. The Poles hit 5 times. The Swedes hit 2. The Poles have 2 supports. The Swedes have 1. Here comes the saves. Everything but 2s and up. Swedes are going to take 1 casualty, lose by 2, and take a -2 break test. The Swedes pass the heck out of that. They take their 1 casualty and they'll be locked in hand-to-hand. The Poles will get marked with I won the hand-to-hand last turn, have their advantage. These guns will each fire a single die into that gun there, looking for 6s to hit. Absolutely terrible. Alright, these gentlemen will do closing fire into that lead Polish unit coming at them. They score a hit. Poles looking for a 2+ to save. They make it. Alright, these guys attacking. 6 on 6. 2 supports for the Swedes. Can a disordered unit support? I can't remember. Doesn't say they can after a quick look. So 2 supports for the Swedes, 3 for the French. 4 saves for the Poles, 2 for the Swedes. No casualties anywhere. Because of the supports, the Swedes will lose and take a -1 break check. Gotta love that classic Steve morale check roll. It was terrible. Break test. They fail huge. When I was looking for the support thing, I did find out the rule for that, but we'll get to that in a minute. Over here we've got 4 Polish units attacking 1 Swedish unit. A little bit of a picking on somebody. Not nice. We'll get closing fire from the Swedes. They hit. Poles making a saving throw. They saved that. No effect. Now we get the hand-to-hand. Poles hitting on 3s. Swedes on 4s. Poles are going to make 2 saves. Swedes are going to make 3. No casualties, but we'll get the -3 break check, which is always a good one. That unit will incinerate, be the 2nd Battalion and 5th Brigade to blow apart. On this one, we're going to get 12 dice for the Poles and 6 dice for the Swedes, and we'll get 2 supports for the Swedes. No, 2 for the Poles and 1 for the Swedes. The Swedes take 11 hits and they inflict 0, so they have 11 saves trying to get 2 pluses. They do really good there. They take a casualty. They're going to lose by 3. So take a -3 break test after supports. Alright, that unit's going to get crushed. They're going to flee. This has gone horrible. I mean, we all know that cavalry's going to kill that unit because artillery can't be supported. They're going to charge on and destroy that other gun. It's basically Bernadotte's lost 2 of his 6 brigades, or 2 of his 6 infantry brigades. He just lost about 40% of his artillery. Well, actually about 40%. And this has gone horribly wrong. So he's going to sound the retreat. He is quite aware that Napoleon doesn't, he's kind of like, he knows Napoleon's already made overtures for him to come back to our side and everything else. And Scott and I just talked about this a minute ago. So Bernadotte's on the road to Berlin. He can't afford to lose his army because that wouldn't look good because he just got named Crown Prince. So he's going to catch up with everybody who routed. There will be minimal losses. He inflicted not very many losses at all on the Poles. The Poles are more interested in going that direction, or actually this direction, making a right hook and then basically surrounding the Bülow to my right. They're going to get there about this. Bernadotte would be clear of this battle by 1, and then they'd start swinging right. So 1:30, 2 o'clock, they'll be coming in behind my table where my battle ended about 2 o'clock. So that would make the retreat, and also Scott was done around like 1 o'clock. So very little bit of Bülow is going to get away. And that was Napoleon's main goal, was to let the Swedes go, make some overtures to Bernadotte, because if it's good for Bernadotte, it's good for Bernadotte. If it's going bad, it's not good at all. So if he was promised a quick win, he was promised the parts of Denmark's territory, he was promised we wouldn't have to attack Napoleon, and he's got everything the opposite. Basically, Napoleon came right into Berlin, steamrolled him, and it wasn't a quick victory because now he's been blown out of the water. His army's been soundly defeated by a Polish, force from VIII Corps, along with Young Guard and Guard cavalry, but they got just shellacked and did about 0 casualties to their opposition. Great win for Prince Poniatowski. He wins the Royal Rumble. We'll talk about in the wrap-up discussion in a couple days of what will happen with the casualties, what will happen politically. I personally think the Swedes are going to be out of the war, if not on the French side of this at the end, after they get together. Berlin is going to be captured, which is going to nub all their enthusiasm, this big fervor of German reunification that was going on. They're going to have second thoughts about that, which will probably slow Prussian reinforcements for the rest of the campaign until they get Berlin back. And then whatever's left and can survive is going to go east from these forces and try to hook up with the army of Poland coming out of Russia when they arrive out to the east in Frankfurt. This is just, Napoleon had a massive numerical advantage up north. Historically, he went south, but Scott decided to go against historical stuff and went straight in. Plus, he employed the Imperial Guard immediately. With, as far as I can tell, very few casualties, so it wasn't burned. If he would have got a lot of Imperial Guard casualties, it might have been a whole different, it could be an entirely different campaign. But I think if we add up all the numbers, the Imperial Guard is still relatively intact. And, on my table, they barely got touched. I don't think they got touched at all. Maybe a few, maybe like 1 casualty out there on the south side. So that's it. And they got their sabers wet because they slaughtered some stuff over here, and then these Young Guard came through and they might have taken some pop shots from out of this town, but nothing significant. mission accomplished. Swedes are driven back towards Berlin. Prussians and Russians fleeing everywhere. French forces blasting through on different battlefields and encircling other fights. And we'll have to see what comes out of it, but it's going to be ugly. We're trying to get a conversation together between Scott, Wayne, Josh, and I all at once, and just kind of talk over the campaign. It'd be kind of fun to have those two lunatics on, and it would be great to get to know them a little better. And that's all I got. So thank you for watching this entire battle series. Black powder felt a little different, but it did exactly what I needed it to do, and it could do the same thing for you. If you have limited time and want to play a big Napoleonic battle or big multiplayer Napoleonic battle, it basically, you can get a result, because this Swedish Army of Sweden, yeah, it's turn 4 now at 12:30. By the time Bernadotte gets out, it'll be 1 o'clock by the time it's over. So 1 o'clock, Prince Poniatowski takes control of the battlefield, and he will start making a southern hook to get behind General Boulot. And Scott's calling me back, so I'll talk to you guys later. You're awesome.